identify those tiny steps that each one can do. Thank you. I'll stop here.
Fair enough. Anyone else, please, who wants to see that? Like the Dandi March, some very symbolic yet extremely powerful message we need to have, I suppose. I mean, Gandhi could have taken a bus and he would have been there in 2 hours, but he decided he will walk and walk only 6 kilometers, and it took 30 days in order to see that the world will watch him. So we need to, position, we need communications of a certain kind.
Hariharan, I can put a word?
Yes, please. Yes, Sam. I can hear you. Sam Papu is from Chicago. Good morning, Sam, to you.
Good morning. Yeah, now there is no word like wastewater. Even in USA, we use it like water reclamation. You know that I work for I'm sitting from the world's biggest wastewater plant now.
Right.
And Chicago area, we call it as our agency as Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. We never say that it's a wastewater cleaning plant. Okay, so the wastewater in the universe itself, like there is no wastewater because the the water is recycled automatically by the nature itself, which we are cutting down that cycle. We are taking the fresh water, we are making it wastewater, but we are never cleaning it. That is the main problem. And thanks for it.
Fair enough. Good point there. Let's move on. We'll take a couple of more slides and we'll move into the process that we have taken so that we have more cities take to this. To me, my interest in this evening's discussion is how can we have more cities, more leaders from among you here who can take to this purpose and galvanize it in your own cities with support, with help that we can provide you. People like Sripati, leaders like, all of us are here to see what we can do to bring that support. Go on, Pallavi, move this. This is, we skipped. Let's move a few. This is it. I want to go to the children thing. Look at that. I do, when I hear anything from elsewhere, from Canada, Europe, media messages to social media, to whatever else, I tell myself, they have got no children there. It's all here, 500 million between just India and China. And look at that thing called, blessed thing called Africa. We say Africa, everything is anonymous there. 54 countries. It's not a country. Africa is a continent, and Africa is got as many of these things, and yet we sort of, continue to think of Africa as one, one entity. So go on, please. The next, move on. Children. I believe that they can do it. I'll show you just 2 films eventually. Go on, please. Go on. Look at that. How we always come from constraints. And when you listen to these 2 kids now, one of them, one young girl, phenomenal girl. She's no more than 13 years or something. This was recorded about 6 months ago. So the next one, please. And there you are. This is a challenge. I put this up because this has been something that has been also sort of like our Dr. Pradeep said just now. We need symbolic things, but we know the numbers of asteroids that threaten to hit the Earth every day, right? Any scientist here will understand the numbers of the phenomenal risk that the Earth runs, the planet runs every day. But we don't do anything about it. Many of us don't even know about it. And yet there is so much money that is spent, few billions of dollars that are spent in order to see that we mitigate this crisis for humanity, right? Now, why won't we think like that for, say, water? When we can spend, let us say, 14,000 crores in a state like Karnataka for a new project to bring long-distance water from another place which is 80 kilometers away from here, why would I not spend, let's say, a 10th of that, a 20th of that, to see that I'm bringing awareness? Sydney did that, 2010 or between 2010 and 14, and they saw a very tangible drop in the consumption of water by people and therefore supply of water to the city. Go on, please. And this girl, listen to her if you play that. It's no more than 60 seconds.
I would tell them about, first I would tell them about...
The question to her was, if you are asked to convince people as to why you should do something about water conservation, what would you do? Go on, please.
First, I would tell them about the crisis, definitely, because most of them know about it, but some of them don't. but some of them know about it, but they don't want to do anything about it. So first you have to tell them that. Then I would convince them to start telling other apartments to use aerators because it's needed to save water.
And she went on to say eventually that, I will tell them that by 2030, there is a dire crisis on water. And then we continued the conversation. But the point is, and move on next, Pallavi, we'll get to the part 2 of it all.
Tell them about the...
No, part two. Next slide, yeah. Yeah, look at this boy. Interesting. This boy's response too. Go on, please.
If it was a simple way, you could take the example if, let's say, today we start, like every citizen of India starts saving 1 liter. By the end of the day, we're saving almost 130 crore liters. So if you think of it in that perspective, if just one person saves the water, it's not going to make such a big difference. But if everybody chip in, it's going to make a big difference.
This boy is 11 years old, and studies in some school. And we got him to talk to the forum one of these days. Go on, please. Next slide. Go on. Skip. We know all this. We'll skip this. Like Dr. Pradeep said, we have to go beyond that. Skip this. We'll get there. And now, next one. See, right or wrong, and from here I have probably 8 or 9 slides now, and therefore about 7-8 minutes. Go on, please. Why would the West be doing this when 500 million people, okay, 250 million people, 260 odd million children, live here in India? Why is it that we are not able to get children to sort of be galvanized into acting? Why is it that as leaders, all of us who are in institutions of the kind that we represent are not able to get kids to do on social media? Today it's virtual walk on the streets. We don't have to do physical demonstrations of this kind. I put this up because this is Canadian, this is from Montreal, but my point is that we need more of these at the virtual levels, especially post-COVID. Not happening. How do we get our children to do it? And I think it's our responsibility, or at least we must have the ability in us to see how we can drive such energies of children. Go on, please. Go on. Yeah, there. Look at that. 1,100 liters there. Kabul is 30 liters. I mean, yeah. Go on, please. In Bombay, we pay 40 liters per 1,000 liters. I mean, 40 rupees per 1,000 liters. We all have the same problem. You could be in Chicago, you could be in Montreal, you could be here in India, in any city. We all have leakages. The chief minister here, the former chief minister, maybe 3 months ago, the guy was saying, we have got 40%, I give you a target, I want it to be reduced to 20%. 1 week prior to that, I was reading a Montreal report, and it was talking about how they were losing this kind of thing. So look at that, you can see on the right side, as a background, you should reduce water wastage to 20%, says whatever the chief minister here in Karnataka. Go on, please. So the problem is the same everywhere. We have either inundation threats or we have this. And we have electricity bills of the same, big electricity bills. Sam Papu talked just now. I know what his bill is at the Chicago Metro if he's going to be treating 55 billion liters of water every day. The question is therefore not the technological marvel that he represents or his organization represents. The question is, why are you supplying 1,000 liters per person in Chicago or in Montreal? And why this disparity? How is it that we can consider? I mean, like they say about the butterfly that flutters in some forest in South America can bring you an impact elsewhere in Indonesia. Today it's become one world. How do we get everybody to start conserving elsewhere in the interest of the South? The North has to do what it has to do. How do we get something like that galvanized? Is beyond our ability. Collective ability, I'll say. Go on, please. This is the same. This is in every city across the world. Aging is the problem. 1929, 30s, when water infrastructure was laid in most parts of the central parts of the city. Bombay, for instance, is a classic example. 1914 to 1990, during the war, it's been said, interestingly, in Bombay. In Bangalore, it was all 1928 to 1930. And everything is bursting at the seams, of course. Yeah, go on, please. And we don't have the money to invest. It's like railways and the inventory that we carry. We can't add to it. India has not added after 1947 any more than, say, 20% of feedstock to the railways, to the entire bunch of railway lines that we have. Think about that. And look at this. Both of them have the rich world, the poor world. All of them have the same goals. They're not getting there. So what can we do? Go away from governments, go away from authorities, the water authorities, especially in countries like ours, where we have no governance. You had recently you all heard about Bhubaneswar, you heard about Puri getting tap water, fresh water without RO systems in your house, right at your tap. I think that's not the way to go. The governments will want you to do that because of their wonderful hunger for public expenditure. I call it the brutality of public expenditure. They want thousands of crores to be spent. They don't want to spend 20 crores to see if they can bring about demand-side management. Nobody in the government wants to talk demand-side management. This is something I want to ask some of you here. If you can do something about it at levels like the Citizen Action Forums on demand side, without here you don't have to spend money. Here you have to only try and see how you can galvanize behavior. Go on, please. Well, point of views. Look at this. At the end of it, I ask, and all of this, every one of our homes is a mini water utility. I was talking to one of these people from ADB, and the man says, only in India I see this. I know that there are a few other countries that we have these mini water utilities. You go to smaller towns, across, for instance, from Guangdong, if you're riding to, say, Shanghai, it's an 850 mile ride. There are smaller towns there. Homes don't have pumps and overhead tanks and nothing. They get water, that's it, period. Then they have other challenges of having to get the right quality of water. Is the water right? And so what I do at the point of use and so on. But the point is, they are not mini water utilities like we are not in our country. Your apartment, your individual homes, everything is a mini water utility. What a waste of, infrastructure money, whether you spend it or the government spends. Go on, please. How do we change that? This is something I told you about. I'm going to skip this, right? Skip this. Go on. Go on, please. Next. This is what we are doing. We take simple things. That first thing that you read here, I don't know how long back this was, must have been, okay, that's in April. We said there are 3 laws in the city. We invited all WOW leaders here. Many of the WOW members are here present, I think, at least a few of them. And we said, now, how do we get people to just be in full compliance of the law for rainwater harvest, for meters, for instance, or for STPs? Every law in this city, in Bangalore, has been flouted. The rule is you don't do it. 80% of the STP systems that have been set up are undersized. And nearly all of them don't work. Nearly all of them. And why were they set up? Because somebody would not give me the NOC if I was a builder. And not for any other reason. Maintenance is a problem, whether it's in the government or here. Only 10% of water in Bangalore is treated as a basic STP compliant before they're put into lakes. And you know what people have written about, even in the 1930s, people like Patrick Geddes, for instance, who died in 1932, who spent something like 12 years in India. He's a man who was the urban planner for cities like Banaras and Baroda and Tanjore, many of the 7 cities he built in India. And he says somewhere that, you need to protect your lakes to something else if you want, disconnect with rural and the countryside and the city and so on. So go on, please. The next one. So we talk every time we take a theme, we talk about it. Every time we end up, making notes on what we can push after that. I must confess that we have not been entirely successful, but what we have managed with about 23 such meetings, plus another 5, 6, about 30 meetings so far, which means approximately every fortnight we have one meeting or the other. We have these action groups that meet again separately, and they have about 8 to 10 members who then take from this. You see, the one difference we tried to make, and I'm seeking your ideas also at the end of it, another 3-4 minutes, is that we said we will set a target. We'll see that we will measure and verify it in a way that whatever we are doing in terms of galvanizing citizen action must lead to a measured, verified saving of water. We are at about 400 crore liters now. This figure is a little dated, of people whose water saving measures have been documented by us, and we know what are the solutions they put in place, what their original benchmark was of water consumption and what it is today, right? And that to me is the essence of wanting to see how we can galvanize action in a way that we have a target. From here, we took it as sub-targets. We said apartments group will do this, and many other groups like this that you see listed here. We said each of them will see how they can move into it. Schools, for instance, schools has been a non-starter for us because because of this challenge of COVID and so on, because children are not still going to school. They're looking at other things, commercial building, hoteliers, for instance, 8,000, 9,000 liters is only per year is from just hoteliers. You know, these little restaurants and such places. Each of them add up. If I consume only 10,000 liters a day, you multiply that, you know how many lakhs of liters you have in a year. So we said we'll try and see how we can hit each of these targets, but with leaders, citizen leaders, who will chair the sessions and drive the action groups themselves. Go on, please. And then we have these. Look at these 7. 3, 4, 5, and down there are 2 more here. I don't know if I see it here. Anyway, I mean, my screen is sort of, yeah. See, these 5, and apart from these, we got 2 more. What we said is, this we have got a simple Google form we send out. If you are living in an apartment, we asked you for simple data. How many floors you got? What is the roof terrace area, for instance. And then with some very basic, very, very basic data that you can offer us in, say, 10, 12 minutes of, sitting on it, we are able to convert it into a solution dashboard. And it gives them it's a dashboard where it tells you, if you spend this much money on rainwater harvest, you can get this thing organized. See, many people don't know the basics. Go to the next slide. I'll show them that. You see this. Now, what we do, therefore, is we give them a basic idea of how much they're spending, what they're doing from. If you did rainwater harvesting, how much will you save? If it is STP that you put up, what you can save, what it will cost you also. We put that also at the end of this all, and send it to them at no cost. Yes, Sripati, you raised your hand.
If you have concluded the slides, I think we can take in some questions. That's why I raised.
No, questions is one thing. Go back to the previous slide. I want them to know the touch points, therefore. And I'm done with this. We can let them speak. We try to see, how do you take behavior change? We send them another questionnaire. It's called the WOW. How do you take a water vow? And then there is a school kids and something that we're doing with them. Then we try and see how we can have solution providers rated. Because you don't know, when you call, if you're somebody who is living in an apartment or in a factory, you want to see that you put the right solution together, you don't know who to go to. So you have all your filters, your suspicions of any fellow who's coming to you. You don't want to take a decision and so on. Absolutely, Shobit. You install a water meter in a house, it will definitely work. And it will save you money. It'll cost you approximately, I would reckon, about 3,000 rupees to a meter. If you really want to make it happen, if you're an independent home, for instance, it won't make sense for you. But if you're an apartment, it'll make sense for you. But then if you put it and the rest of them in the apartment are not going to do it, it won't happen. I can send you a case study, Shobit, later, where one apartment did it. They're saving today, and 400 crore liters. I'll send you that link if you like. If somebody sort of writes back to us. And how did they do that? These IoT meters make a big difference in that sense. This is it. Then we have this wonderful, commendation awards ceremony. If you are one of those apartments, there are today an overwhelming number of people here and on YouTube. I believe on YouTube just now we are live streaming and we have got another 50, 60 people there. All I can tell you is that if you have done something like this in your place, or if you know of somebody who has done it, nominate that person or the apartment or the building. It could be a commercial building too, could be anything. And we will see how we will at least offer them an award, recognize and reward them for what they have done. Any questions, anything that you all want to ask us?
Somebody's asking the link. Can it be posted on the mail or chat?
Right away, Pallavi, one of you, if you can, okay, I'll put it like this to you. I put that WOW link there. What is that called? The WOW page link, Pallavi, on the. And if you can find that commendation award one before we complete in the next few whatever time, please put that up so that people can copy that and listen to it later. Particularly of that apartment, Girish was the person who had nominated. In the second commendation awards, you'll find it there. Go on, please.
The next question is, WOW need to come out with a pictorial representation of freshwater supply, generated sewage, treated sewage, fed to trees, increase rains, practice RWH, increase freshwater availability. The question comes from Sitapati Rao.
Yes, Mr. Rao, we need to do that. This, this is something that I think has been brought up in the WOW meetings also. I need resources. Anyone here who will want to, I think Mr. Rao is asking this question, not of me. He's saying anybody here in the team, if you can help us do it, we will be very happy and grateful to you all. Any youngster here who wants to sort of talk to us, we will give you the data, somebody who can convert this. We have a few interns working with us, but this is certainly needed. I think you will agree with this, Sripati, that, words don't help us. We need pictures, which can impact us. To go back to what Dr. Pradeep said, we need these very symbolic things that can impact, so maybe yes. Anybody else? Anything else?
We have some great names who have been participating in this conversation, sir. Dr.
Right.
I will just name a few, and
Yes.
few of my ex-colleagues are also in this call. And we have our regular visitors to the water talks also in this call right now.
Greetings to all of you.
Aware of Mr. Ramani Iyer, then Indukant Ragade.
Who doesn't know him? Yes.
Regular attendees for these discussions, interactions.
Right.
And we have Dr. Pradeep Saxena. I believe he's with the SCGJ Skills
Green Job Skills Council. I know his
jobs.
That's right. Dr. Saxena, we have spoken once before. And, Chris is also an old friend. Niranjan Khatri is also known to me. Yours is a small family of people who I know. Go on, Sripati.
So before, somebody wants to ask a question, my favorite question is like this, sir. And being a green builder, which you are saying that I was doing it for a few years, initial years, and I'm coming out of it and doing something else. So my favorite question is, even when we started our green building movement in say 2002 or 2003,
right?
I would like to take water to that kind of a situation. Water, are we in that kind of a situation that we are still unable to create a movement? We are unable to still create a movement on water. That is my only kind of a question I keep asking me. And somebody, if they have time with me, I will start boring them with this kind of a question. How do you create a movement? How do you think of creating a movement, mass movement? As you said in the, you have done so many forums and within 1 year or say 14 months or something like that. How do we create that kind of a forum? How do we create that kind of a mass movement? And nevertheless, whatever you have been, spearheading this talk, you see more than 100 people who have joined this call. This itself is a big movement that we are able to generate. I believe with this, it should go to bigger, numbers.
Can someone else guide us? What Sripati is saying is very true. Can anyone else speak and give us some idea of how we can take this to larger numbers of people? The message on these 3-4 solutions on water. How do I reach it to say 100,000 people in Bangalore? Flat owners. I'm not talking about managing committees and experts. Anyone, please. Yes, sir. I think Dr. Ragade is wanting to speak. No?
He can
talk. Yeah.
Ragade.
No.
Ragade, he is not able to.
Sorry. Okay, he's not. Mr. Ramalingam is this. Mr. Shankar Ramalingam. I think he wanted to speak.
Mr. Ram Shankar also could respond.
Okay.
I have not been able to follow the conversation due to disturbances.
Okay.
So I'm not able to comment. But I ultimately feel, self-reliance and flat complexes is very critical. There are complexes where they put every used water, good water, grey water is mixed with poisonous sewage. There's no storage. They treat it in a big STP. They have to get rid of that water. Some of them don't even treat and send it and dump it elsewhere. A simple solution, all these flat owners can use the grey water separately, treat it.
I agree with you.
And STP can be substantially reduced, number one. Number two, in my experience, the concept of an upflow filter, which is a much better solution than STP and septic tank.
Sure.
It requires to be promoted. The upflow filter seems to be an unknown entity among sanitary engineers.
No, but that's technical. The question, the simpler question I think our Mr. Sripati is asking is, how do we get 100,000 apartment dwellers, shall we say, or flat owners or tenants or whatever, in say your city, to know how they will earn money back if they put in these 4 or 5 solutions? How do we get to reach them? How do we connect with these people and inform them of it and convince them of it?
In my 15 years of connection with a construction company, I revived the traditional dug well
Right.
in about 140 flat complexes.
Absolutely.
And the traditional dug well, along with rainwater harvesting, introduced
solving it.
substantial
I got
self-reliance.
that.
People
So-
don't even know about it.
Absolutely.
The metro water is least interested.
I agree with you. That is the reason you're here. So this is the choir. We are preaching to the choir. Now, how do we now take this story, Mr. Ramshankar, to another 100,000 apartments which have already been built by builders who are insensitive?
So Dr. Harian, and this
Yes.
question or this voice you heard was from Dr. Ragade.
I'm so sorry. That is Dr.
This is
Agadi, is it?
Dr.
Okay.
Ragade.
Okay.
And
Okay. So, Dr. Agadi, tell us.
Builders, in my experience, are least interested.
Okay, that's one way of
And
looking at
another
it.
sad aspect is architects, if they're sensitized to methods of managing water, will make a great difference. We can introduce the systems at the building construction stage itself at practically no cost. But in my experience with the School of Architecture here, a 2-hour presentation, there's not a single question.
Agree.
So
Agree with you.
architects have to be sensitized to the key role they can play. Really.
Okay.
Be civil
we had one more
engineering
question.
graduates.
We had one more
Yeah.
question from Mr. Nanak Sandasani,
Yes.
Wash official.
Hmm.
Can you spell out your question, sir?
I have some suggestions. So basically, I work with government of Gujarat for 26 years in the Gujarat and Vasmo community initiatives. So what I learned that whatever we want to showcase or we have to have some paradigm shifting thinking. Suppose in earlier days, community was not paying for water, but after Vasmo community initiative, water was community was ready to pay. My point is that for this particularly question, how to create a demand. I am now sitting in the Dungarpur, Rajasthan. I am in the field visit. What I got to know from Dungarpur, Rajasthan, that the president is so inspired by productive rainwater harvesting. Now he has made the rule: whoever wants to construct a new building in Dungarpur city, he has to have rooftop water harvesting system. Then the plan will be approved. So this kind of momentum or enabling environment to impress upon ignite the trade. And secondly, what I found as a wash officer in Rajasthan and in Bihar also I was there. So perception of safe water is a big miss both in communities and at the service provider level. I have seen in Bihar that arsenic treatment was very well working. But when arsenic task force came and they went into the households and they interacted with the community said that we are not using this arsenic treatment plant. So the surprise, it was shocking. They said, we consider this as a dead water. We consider this as a dead water because we have the chapakal, so the live water is coming. So you see the gap was that prior to construction or planning, community was not involved. So this was a big miss. Here in Chitredi, I was advocating with this government of the state government, PS, regarding water safety planning. So they say, what is this water safety planning? You have to showcase. So in Dungarpur, in one of the village, we have showcased what we want to preach. So out of 100 household, 60% household where water sample were found unfit, which were fit in the hand pumps. So we showcased the study. So there are so many issues, and you rightly pointed out, nobody is working in the demand side. And I am really very shocking when the point that drinking water advocacy communication strategy, which was by the demand of by advocacy at the UNICEF level, highest level, it was documented
document is ready, but there is no rollout system. So we have to work towards all these ideas. This is my humble submission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since you worked for so long, Nanakji, in the government,
Yeah.
do you believe that the government can be convinced into moving away from supply side thinking in a way that they will, take to what we are trying to do here? This is job that, good governance is about doing these things, about creating awareness, creating systems, where for example, in the water bill that you and I get, if there are some messages there of the least water consumer in my area or something like that. I'm sure today with IT and such things, these are possible. Why is the government not doing these things? If the government does this, then you and I we will become irrelevant. We don't have to do these meetings.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? How do you persuade the government?
100% true. And I am fully with you. With the Gujarat experience of community managed initiative, now it has been scaled up at the JJM level. And Bharat, who is the CEO, now he is spearheading. But what is mismatch? Certainly this mismatch is that whatever is in his heart, in the true spirit, it is not followed at the state level. That is big miss.
Anyone else, please?
I am also trying my best. I am trying my best to convince the state government and the PhD people also to be public health engineers. Means we should have a public health in our motto, in our mindset, and then deliver something. But
where are you located?
But it will
where
take
are you
time.
located, Directly? Where are you located? Which city are you from?
I am in UNICEF Rajasthan.
In Rajasthan today, okay. Now, why I asked is, from among many of the leaders here, I want to see if somebody will be able to say, I will want to take some of these issues, form meetings, constantly talk to people and see if the message can be taken to water users, bulk water users, with meetings of this kind, forums of this kind that the World of Water is having. That is, we have more action forums, say in Chennai. Anyone who will want to, in fact, our Mr. Nandkumar is here. He and I were speaking maybe about 2 weeks ago. And he said, look, I'm willing to give you all the support, but don't ask me to run that. You find me somebody who will do that, and we will give you all whatever that because they're sitting in Chennai, they're sitting at the IIT Madras campus and all that. I said, okay, here is an opportunity. Let's see if we can do. So if there is somebody here from Chennai or from Hyderabad who wants to see, who resonates powerfully, with these directions and wants to work with us, I'll be happy to hear from him or her. Anyone here?
Ramya Dwivedi, who's our ex-colleague, she's asking, talking of movements, why do you think we are not seeing creation of large step wells, temple tanks, etc., as an architectural solution to store huge amounts of fresh water for communities, which is only seen as heritage?
I agree with you. I agree with her. I only say this, somewhere from 1970, we lost it. Very sadly, we lost it in just the last 50 years. And somebody wrote a book recently, I can't remember, I think it was Paul Hawken, who's written this book on, regeneration within this generation or something like that is the title. So within this generation, if we can't bring this, when I say this generation, I define it to be the next, say, 30 years. If we can't reverse what we have done, brought us damage in the last 50 years from 1970, there is no hope. There's no redemption for our children and others. So I agree with you that, whether it's temple architecture, whether it's traditional, the architecture of water, forget about the architecture of buildings, the architecture of water in our cities. Take your city, take Chennai, for instance, and the marvelous, intricate system of lakes that you lived on. You didn't, again, have a very large lake around which the city grew, right? And you are 500 years old. But as a city, you manage to maintain all your water bodies. You all know, if you are living in Chennai, from the south of Chennai, you've got 2 large reservoirs. And if they don't fill up with this returning monsoon that you get, by January, there is alarm in Chennai. You know that. And everyone watches, from Jayalalitha to any chief minister is watching the levels of that reservoir to the south of Chennai. So my point is that network of lakes, the architecture of water, was decimated in your city, my city, everywhere. Do I have answers? Like I began this, I have no solutions. I have no answers. I'm looking for more thinking from you all.
Okay. There is another, comment or suggestion from Nandini Elumalai. I don't know
Yes.
where is she working. So the kind of a comment which is leaving here is, I'm no expert, but here is what marketers do to influence people take a desired action, addressing a pain point with a solution and fusing it with a benefit. They would refuse to miss out.
Agree with you.
Yeah, so it is again a question of marketing, doing something to sell something, and then go away with it. What is going to happen after that?
Yeah, but then if you look at any big change that has happened in the last, say, from about 1990, I'll say, it's always a market-led intervention. Look at what is happening currently. The shift from, the death of the oil era, meaning, moving away from fossil fuel-based IC engines and all that into electric vehicles. I'm not saying electric vehicles is the best solution, but the point is this whole shift is happening not because of governments. It's happening because of consumers. It's happening because of the market. So market-led intervention has brought big change. Look at solar and the disruption of cost. From 4,20,000 rupees per kilowatt, it has now come down to 40,000 rupees in just the last, say, 15 years, from 2008 or so. Why? It's market-led again. So I don't know, Nandini, the context from which you are talking, but if you want to explain that, we are happy to learn from you.
I think it's a never-ending interaction that will happen when we start talking about water, I believe.
Right.
We are almost at 7:10 now.
Yes.
1 hour 10 minutes that we have started this discussion, and we should say this, that we have started the discussion now. We're not going to end it now. We have started the discussion, and we are going to interact more and more, not only in this forum, but also in many other means. And with all regards to you, Dr. Hariharan, for your excellent insights on your thoughts, on your perspectives about water, the environment, the building, the actions to be taken and all that. It is every time a learning session when we sit with you, sir, on several aspects.
Issues of you.
I don't know. I just want to say that we have just started learning again, and we have started discussing again. We'll have to do an action now. That is what you started with, and we are also, getting into that, saying that we are also trying to act upon all ideas. This is not the how do you say?
Right.
You listen to it and sleep over it. We are trying to add more and more, learn more and more. In ICCW, for example, every day there are several new thoughts that are coming, new ideas that are coming. We are flooded with thoughts, I would say. But ultimately, how do we really take this forward? Who's going to help us? Who's going to support us? Whom do we reach out to? What are their ideas? What are their contributions? So it is a never-ending process, never-ending learning.
Right.
Yes. You please go ahead.
If we listen to what our Mr. Sripati is saying, like Dr. Ramya is saying now, I see Chandra of Watson talking to Ramya and saying, hey, I'm willing to, sort of collaborate with you. I'm seeing somebody from Hyderabad University who is saying, I'm working in these areas of water and water management. What can I do? So what I'm saying to you all is, please connect with Mr. Sripati or with the CEO, Mr. Nandkumar. Please come back to us and say, yes, in our city, we will be willing to see if we can, form a group of first 30, 40 people. We were probably 20 plus people. We grew to about 80, 100 people here as citizen leaders, not as business people. There are no, what do you call them? Like in the industry associations, there are no CII members and such here. We are plain, simple citizens. So if there are people like that among you and you want to start it, please write back to Mr. Nandkumar. His mail ID will be there somewhere, or to Mr. Sripati. I don't recall. Well, you can see, for instance, Dr. Pradeep's mail ID is showing up for some reason. I don't want you to write to Dr. Pradeep every time. But my point is that, if you do write to somebody like them, we will join you. We will bring you the methodology. I showed you a few touch points and a few things as to how we can form action groups and such things. We will help you with how you set up this, what do you call it, this online infrastructure, having meetings and such things in your city. All of this we will do for you. If there
It's
is,
been an excellent session, Dr. Hariharan. And for the past 15 days, we were trying to get to this time and learn from you more and more now. And of course, as I said, we have just started. We have just started to think about and doing all that. So let me again, congratulate you from a layman's perspective. I'm a layman in front of you to congratulate you on the work that you have been doing and you have done since the time that we were knowing each other. And a lot of many things, a lot of good things have to be done in many more circles, right? Like this.
Right.
This, I think, the starting point for again, long innings to happen.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I think I want to see if Dr. Pradeep has something to say and Ms. Nandkumar.
Because Dr. Pradeep was saying he was not well. So
he's here. I mean, I can see he's here.
His name is there.
It is so, exciting. So although I'm not all that well, I decided to stay back. And I have the following thing to say. I know that it is 7:15 already. I'll take about 3-4 minutes. Wanted to say that Sripati was asking this question, how do you make it a mass movement? And you were also asking this question. And relating to Gandhi, Dandi movement and all that they're stretching upon. While movements of this kind are very important, Dandi happened only in India. Satyagraha happened only in India. Quit India happened only in India, although there were several other countries under imperial rule. Very important to realize the need and bring kind of movement that can be absorbed by that kind of a society. What we do here exactly may not be applicable in another country. Although Gandhi was treated as his teacher by Nelson Mandela. What I wanted to connect was that it is important to build movements of the kind of relevance to the region, like the Temple Tank movement or whatever that was just touched upon. And there are many other things that one can do in the context of the country. Now, what are those movements and how do we connect? I was thinking that you talked about kind of a model with minimum inputs, how much of water can you save and all. This kind of an assessment, if that can be done at individual level, based on a number of inputs. For example, by using a different soap, you can actually contribute to something. Or a different construction material, you can get something. Or different kind of clothing, you can contribute to something. Or different kind of cooking methodology, you can contribute to something. Or different cookware, you can contribute to something. 100 things that you can relate, because everything is connected to water ultimately. So if we develop this kind of a large app, so to say, for want of a better word, a mobile digital methodology, at the end, by citizens' action, what Chennai has saved, or country has saved, or whatever. And it is not limited to water saving. As I said, it is also connected to technology. It's also connected to many other things. That is, for example, if you walk a little bit, instead of, let us say, taking a two-wheeler, you do contribute to something. So, and in that analysis, there is much more technology that one can get into and relate that to water in a scientifically validated fashion, not something that you come from, some kind of a thought or imagination. These are validated inputs. As a result, by this movement, we contribute directly to certain quantifiable numbers. And we like to coin some name for it, but at the same time, I think this is where everybody can channelize. A teacher can channelize, a student can channelize, a builder can channelize, a housewife can channelize. So that becomes then the modern day movement, as Sripati was talking about. I would stop here. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Nandkumar, I know we are, I know Sripati will be annoyed, but we must listen to you.
Right. I'll just make a brief point, Dr. Hari. I think it's been a very, very inspiring. Unfortunately, I was traveling and I couldn't connect very much. But to me, what touched my, heart today is that you said 1/3 of us are consuming 200 plus liters per day. And most of the people here are probably belonging to that 1/3. And therefore, I think somewhere this discussion may need to be taken to those slum dwellers and those people who are below 100 liters. And how do we empower them? And can we give the baton to them and say, you guys now tell us what we should do? I don't think we should decide what we should do. We should tell them, because that is democracy, and tell them, look, you tell us, we will listen. Because I think somewhere those who have are not willing to share with those who do not have. Somewhere that's what I'm seeing. And one place where there is homogeneity is the kids, the school children. And I want to take off from those two videos that you played, where at children, between a slum dweller and hopefully there is a homogeneity. So if we can start some campaigns with the schools and get them excited, because they are the future. Unfortunately, unlike energy, water is free. And as long as it remains free, there is no motivation for anybody to save. It's just a, fashion. But those who are suffering and those who are for future, this depends on the way water is being handled today. Probably, they would take a leadership role. We probably should take a step behind and allow them to lead. This is what the radical suggestion I want to make, because beating about the bush at our level, noble thoughts will come, but action is not going to come because it's too late for us to make a difference. I mean, I'm being point blank and saying, the better side of our life is behind us. Maybe the youngsters should take the ball and run, and we just support them. If that is possible, and ICCW can help in reaching out to schools and reaching out with a campaign and involving the students, the teachers, and putting it part of the curriculum and creating an excitement and some competition. And because this is people are talking about world war for water. People are talking water being the next liquid gold and things like that. How come not enough money is going into investment in training or educating people, creating awareness? Somewhere there seems to be hesitation. This is something you may want to consider, and offline I can take it up with you.
Perfectly, a very sensible idea. I would only say schools and colleges. In fact, I will do one discussion with you with Usha. Usha is talking to one college, for instance, two universities, private universities in Bangalore, and two colleges. They are IT colleges, colleges of engineering, and so on. There are 100 students of engineering, third year or so, who have told her yesterday or something saying, well, we are available. We want to be volunteers. Please tell us what to do. Now, the challenge before us. We don't know what, we will have to recalibrate ourselves to see what they can do for us. So, this equation that you're talking, kids, therefore schools, slums, and, that even better connect that you're asking for. How do we go to the slums people and tell them, look, guys, you tell us what we should do. We are at 200 liters, 40 liters. And they buy water at 3 times the cost, at least in Bangalore, of what I buy. Grossly unfair. And they are 1/3. The guy who comes and delivers the Amazon and some whatever else, as things go, he lives in a slum. Of the 9 people that in the last, let us say 3 months, who has delivered something like this, I've stopped him and asked him, where do you live? And he will give me an area. He will not say he's living in a slum. I probe him a little. I know he's living in a slum. I spent that extra 3-4 minutes to find out. I mean, this is my way of doing a small enumeration. But the point is that these are guys who are invisible infrastructure. Without them, we don't exist. Our drivers, our maids, everybody. Anyway, sorry. Apologies to you, Mr. Sripati. We have overstepped time.
Yeah, we have one question from Chandra. I think Chandra is raising.
Yes, Chandra, please speak.
Watson, Chandra.
Yes, Chandra. You want to speak? You have to unmute and speak. Chandra.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can speak now. You can speak now.
Right.
You able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Actually, the point is what some other person here highlighted. Rejuvenating the heritage structures and the temples itself is going to increase the groundwater level by millions and trillions of tons. In Tamil Nadu, on record, because I am also a temple heritage restorer, I can say without record, 1.25 lakh temples are languishing in ruined condition.
Right.
And all the Chola system, where the interconnectivity of water has been happened.
Will you then connect Chandra with this person who wrote about temples,
Has
this
been broken
lady?
because of the modern constructions which have come on the pathway. So if you are, yeah, if there are
Okay, we will enable this.
notified totally all these buildings and totally thrown out of our system, I think the lakes can be regenerated and water can be brought back to action.
Okay, and now can I ensure that between Mr. Sripati and I, tomorrow we talk to you, we connect you to, I think it was Ms. Ramya who is saying it here. Dr. Ramya, you
Dr.
talk
Ramya
about temples,
is our
right?
ex-colleague. We can also speak with her.
Fantastic, wonderful. If you can get the two of them, I can send you coordinates of Chandra or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And let's see if they are willing to talk. See, this is what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah, even Ram
Very quick point.
Yeah, please. May I know who's this?
This is Sam Papu.
Okay.
Yes, sir, sir.
Yeah, only one thing I want to mention, because like every time, like when we are talking of the water, like the governments and all that, they are spending thousands and lakhs of crores, and only on the water, the digging side or like irrigation side. But the budgets, if you compare like that for the same one on the cleaning of the water, like wastewater, is almost like 0 to 1 or 2%. For example, Telangana government, they have spent more than 1 lakh crores to up pump the whole Godavari river for the irrigation purpose. I think 1 lakh crores or something like that, the world's biggest project. But how much they are spending now only on the wastewater treatment side? It is probably very meager. Or even they were taken the Jal Shakti Ministry, because like the governments think that if you are spending that lot on the irrigation side or drinking water side, they'll get the votes, and then that's it. Like they stop at that point. So the citizen awareness has to come. Like, yes, we want like the cleaning of the environment with the wastewater cleaning also. Then only the things will be improve. Otherwise, like we are opening the recycling, the nature's recycling cycle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. It was a good insight. We got some suggestions from Mr. Ram Shankar also, who's been a part of the Rain Center in Chennai, and he's been working with Mr. Dr. Shekhar Raghavan. But I heard about him. He's the director of Akash Ganga Trust in and we have been working with him, Dr. Ragade, Indukant Ragade, and many more people like that. You might have heard about Jayashree Venkateshan also. We have been working with her also on lake restoration, pond restoration, like that. So ICCW again as a entity is an open platform. Just to highlight you that all these are initiatives that could be brought in for next steps, to give directions, to give the support, to get support from people. So ICCW is all available for doing all this. Dr. Hariharan, you are the best judge for putting things in perspective, and we would have a separate call probably in the next coming days on how do we really engage with several people who have joined in this particular session. I would really I'm very humbled by the work which Pallavi, Sala, and Tejasri have done to make this occasion a very, very interactive one, very fruitful discussion, I would say. And thanks to you all, sir, for all the efforts that you have done to make ICCW Water Talks 11 as a good interactive session. And the next few sessions, we should bring in many more people like this. To talk about their experience, talk about their perspectives. It should
and we must get the Chennai, water conversation of whatever kind, the wow kind, happen every fortnight, soon enough. With such formidable leaders that you all possess there, I'm deeply grateful for this evening and for you and Ms. Nanko inviting me. We must take this forward into more conversations of this kind. If you have stalwarts like Mr. Ram Shankar, Mr. Shekhar Raghavan, Jayashree and others, we are wasting such talent and energy, I'll say.
So my humble suggestion to the forum now is, let us meet every month, at least once, physically, virtually, whatever it is possible. Virtually, we'll meet every month and try and understand each other's perspective. And as number of times as we speak about this subject, we are getting some clarity, we are getting some thoughts, we are getting some actions that can flow. That's the reason we are trying to keep this water talks every month, and we are trying to bring in new perspectives. Once again, thank you, Dr. Hariharan, for your time and your insights. We will again connect with you on a separate platform or a separate call.
Absolutely fantastic evening.
How these thoughts could be arranged in a way that we are able to do some justice to the contributions.
Right. Thanks all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today and staying all this long, 1.5 hours now. Grateful to you all, grateful to ICCW for having made this happen. Also to the WOW members who are present here. We will again meet very soon, I am sure. Thank you, Ms. Nandakumar. Thank you to you also.
Thank you, Dr. Hari. Thank you so much.